Hello, welcome to the Mythology Manifest. For this video I'm going to explain the layout of Greek theatres and why they were built the way they were. I hope you enjoy it. So I will be telling you the layout of the most famous Greek theatre, which was the Theatre of Dionysus, as most theatres were built the same way, just to a smaller scale. So the first thing that you should know about theatres is that they were built on a hill at a slanted, difficult angle. And this was so that the seats were quite high up and allowed everyone to have a good view of the plays below. There was then the seating area, which was called the Theatron. In the Theatre of Dionysus in Athens, in the Theatron there were 13 wedges for the major festival called the Dionysia, which I will discuss in Beliefs and Philosophy. 10 of the wedges were for the tribes of the home city. 3 were for people not from the home city, women, slaves and prisoners. Yes, women and prisoners were classed in the same category, and the prisoners were allowed out for festivals, which I find a bit strange. The front row of the Theatron was reserved for VIPs and was called the Prohedria, and the centre front seat was reserved for the priest of whichever god was being honoured in the play, in this case Dionysus. There was an area situated at the front of the Theatron called the dancing area, or in Greek, the orchestra. This was where the chorus of the play performed, as they were not allowed on stage, as it was only 3 characters at a time. Sometimes there was an altar there, dedicated to the patron god, to show that they were watching over the plays. On either side of the orchestra there were pathways on and off the stage, which were known as the parados. Parados literally translates into way on. These parados acted as entrances for the chorus, the actors, and sometimes spectators. Behind the orchestra was a low wooden stage, where some actors performed. At the back of the stage there was a wooden hut or plank used as a backdrop for actors to change. This was called a skene. Inside or behind the skene was a ladder, which led to a trapdoor in the roof, which could be used as a third acting area, which often was used when gods needed to appear on stage beside mortals. Behind the skene was something called a mechane or a mechane. This was used to raise characters into the air as if they were flying, and was usually used for the gods. The first time this was used was in Euripides' Medea, which is my favourite play and myth. And this is used as she flies away in a chariot pulled by dragons, which wowed the audience in ancient Greece, as a skene was one of the first examples in history of special effects. There was also a wheel platform, which was also seen as a special effect at the time. This was usually used so a character would lie on it to get wheeled on and off the stage to depict dead bodies, as death and murder wasn't allowed to be depicted on stage, which is odd because tragedies were filled with death and murder. Outside of the theatre was usually a market known as the agora, and this is where they would try and sell merchandise from the play, such as a vase with a character on it or a replica mask, similar to how they sell flashing swords and light-up wands at shows now. The Theatre of Dionysus was one of the largest theatres and could originally hold up to 17,000 people because of its religious significance. And that is all you really need to know about the Greek theatre buildings. I have done an introduction to Greek theatre video, as well as videos on the chorus, costumes and masks, beliefs and philosophy, and influence on modern day theatre, so feel free to check those out if you want to. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment or subscribe. If you know anyone interested in, or anyone that teaches Greek theatre, mythology or classics, please let them know about my channel, as it would be a great help. Please let me know if you have any video requests for the future, and you can also follow me on Twitter, which there is a link to in the description below. Let's keep classics alive. I will see you next time on the Mythology Manifest.